They think that I just come in there and look for knockouts, and that's not the case. I'm actually a sharp, smart fighter.
So, well, I'm here. Who wanted to fight with me?
I really don't care who's in front of me. I don't feel like no fighter can beat me.
Demolish everybody, to be honest. Everybody that's in my way. The pinnacle to any weight division is to have all the belts, all of the titles.
Welcome to Bodywork. Good to be back. Been a lot going on, man. It was as far as boxing events, fights that you could see. I think I went to bed like 1 something. We had some not so good performances. We had some decent performances. We had a couple people that was we had one person in particular that did what he was supposed to do. Of course, I got to get into the curriculum, man, because this is going to be one of them stake in the ground conversations. If you don't like the truth, you might want to, holler back, youngin. But gaslight is a form of psychological abuse or manipulation in which the abuser attempts to sow self-doubt and confusion in their victim's mind. Typically, gaslighters are seeking to gain power and control over the other person by distorting reality and forcing them to question their own judgment and intuition. Typically, gaslighters are seeking to gain power and control over the other person by distorting reality, and forcing them to question their own judgment and intuition. You know what I'm saying? It's a reason why I gotta read that, man, because I think a lot of us get away from that in our daily conversations. Cookie Monster, salute Cookie Monster. Bodywork. Cookie Monster say sounding crystal clear. That's what I like to hear. Salute. I appreciate the mic check. The one. Sometimes I go into something else, like I was going into this whole hindsight is 2020 thing before, and it could be more clearer to me. Yes, there are occasions where in hindsight I see things the way it's like, oh, okay, yeah. In hindsight, and then I'm looking at how Bacoli came in the last minute, how Dubois pulled out. Yeah, I was like, in hindsight, it's looking kind of suspect. In hindsight, it's looking kind of suspect. It's looking funny in the light, but this is gonna be more of me asking a bunch of questions, and some of them may be rhetorical, but it's also shedding light on some things that I don't understand, like some of the dialogue. I don't understand some of the patterns and behaviors. I don't understand how we always keep different energy in regards to certain things. Like, like cheating. We keep different energy when it comes to cheating in the sport. Am I cutting in and out, y'all? Somebody didn't want, I mean, let me see. Let me know when I'm good, man. See, that's why I stopped streaming, y'all. That's why I said I wanted to get something else, man. Is it still cutting in and out, Cookie Monster? Certain times. See, this why this was my thing with StreamYard, man. I'm good now. Am I good now? Am I still cutting in and out? It said I had a problem with the internet and shut StreamYard down. And normally I like to start like right on time. I still started like right on time, but like 5 minutes before I was going to go live. I'm spending some time asking some questions, right? And some of these questions might be rhetorical, but then I'm also going to point out certain things about this whole situation that don't really sit well with me, right? And I'm going to highlight some things to where I'm actually seeing that Tank has literally surpassed Floyd on this man, like hating and just going out of their way to like, I don't know, I don't even know what it is. It's like, I think, man, some people are like truly obsessed with Tank. Hold on, y'all. Take it, man. So everybody that's in here, man, bear with. Let me do something real quick. All right, mic check, mic check. I tried to clear everything up. Am I still cutting out? Am I still cutting out? Yo, 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 yo. Okay, so I'm clear. Yo, 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 yo. Okay, okay. All right, all right. Okay. So I think we good now. His twin, salute Bodywork, salute everyone, salute his twin. Okay, so back to the regularly scheduled program. So what I don't, what I, what I've seen is that Tank has officially surpassed Floyd when it comes to hate. Now, right now, it might be a photo finish, right? Some people could still have an argument because of the tenure in which Floyd was in the game, and you know the magnitude of how he did it when he was doing it, right? But we all evolve along with the times, and we all actually see that, just like people, just like streaming and stuff like that, the progression of that, just like novelty boxing, the progression of that. You know, we're starting to get these things, these players coming in and out of the game. Like, things are changing, evolving. Like, boxing looking or resembling more and more of the wrestling type, ordeal. It's starting to, the lines are starting to get blurred, right? Capitalism in boxing. We starting to have more and more people say, man, bump legacy, give me the money. Even though Tank was one of them ones that always pretty much said, I want the bread, right? While everybody else was out here acting as though they were all about legacy and doing some things, some things that were inherent to the people that were building them, and getting titles and doing things like, Teofimo Lopez on the Sean Porter podcast pretty much talked about this in an interview I saw. Sean Porter did an interview with T.O. He did an interview with Keith Thurman. When I endured the T.O. one. He wasn't as brash as before in that one. It wasn't that bad. The Keith Thurman one was actually pretty good, in my opinion. But he talked about it. He talked about it, and he didn't get vulgar. He didn't get disrespectful. He actually had a level head. I think that little heart-to-heart that Bud had with him may have done something, but it might have made him a little bit more conscious of things he's saying, even though he revisited some of that behavior even after that. But I digress from that. But we're seeing that the sport is evolving, and we're seeing that amongst the peers, when you talk about those four guys, and those four guys was Devin, T.O., Ryan, and Tank. Those were those four guys, that everybody, was looking at. Later on or coming up, they started adding Shakur, and that's how you can tell how long people been following, because people miscellaneously throw him in there when he wasn't never one of them guys. Even though talent-wise, you can lump him somewhere in that category of, of the talent. But I think that there is a bridge. It's a gap in between, the era when there was Sean Porter, Bud, Keith Thurman, Danny Garcia, Kell Brook, even you could say even Americana. It's a gap between them and then the Devin Haney's, the Shakors, the Boots. It's a gap. Tank is like right in the middle of that gap. He's like right in the middle of that gap, but he's lumped in with the Tiafimos, the Devins, the Shakors, even though they're a couple years younger than him. Just a couple. 2-3 years younger than him, right? Boots, he's kind of almost in that same situation too, because Boots is not a spring chicken. He's almost in that same situation. He's 27. You know, he's like slightly ahead. He's like a little older than, you know, but he's in that kind of, but Tank is kind of in a weird spot as far as age-wise. But he's also, in many ways, he's been the one that became the premier attraction, and everybody like kind of demonized the fact that he became attraction, because Leonard Ellerbe used to always say, man, Tank Davis is the best fighter in the world. Tank has become an attraction, and people was mocking him. I think Tank Davis is an attraction, but he did, because he's the one that put it butts in seats. Now, when people used to love Mike Tyson for going in there and knocking people out violently, right? When he used to get it over and done with, like you used to start a Mike Tyson fight and you really couldn't get up, you really couldn't go nowhere because he would get you up out of there quick. Tank might not do it as quick, but he delivered the knockout, and people say, oh man, all he is a knock. They reduce it. So in one breath, where they praise somebody like Tyson for knocking people out, they kind of demonize that characteristic about Tank, right? He also inherited a lot of the hate that people had from Floyd on to Tank. It's been kind of transferred. It's almost like it was transferred down, like it was a baton that was handed off. And a lot of people may have not thought that Tank was going to be that guy. They had their eyes on Devin. They had their eyes on, you know, a lot of people had their eyes on Shakur. It wasn't a lot of people, you know, some people had their eyes on T.O. as to who was going to be that guy. You know, the pretty much the man of the hour, so to speak. And Tank emerged. He came up out of it. I mean, somehow, some way, you can try to blame it, you can try to excuse it, you can try to say, oh, Floyd didn't know, because Floyd done it with a lot of people. There's a lot of people that was over there on TMT that didn't make it. It's a lot of people that was over there that fell by the wayside. So you can't say it was all Floyd. Yes, you can attribute the success of him, some of that success, but the thing with boxing is you can be set up and put in a position, but when the referee brings you and your opponent in the center of the ring, and he say, all right, I'm gonna let below right here, I'm gonna let this below here, I'm gonna let that go, I'm gonna let that go. Listen, man, when I say break, you know, let's have a clean fight, you know, and they say ding ding, it's up to you to do what you gotta do in the span of those 36 minutes or less. You know, if you know, if it's a 12 round, in the span of that time, it's up to the fighter to do it. Somehow, some way, on a continual basis, he was doing things in the ring that made people want to see him fight. He gets demonized for that. They hate Tank but can't keep his name from coming out their mouths. See his twin, you about to steal my thunder. You about to steal my thunder. All right, let me stop beating around the bush a little bit here. Now, think about this, man. We had all these fights come on this weekend. A lot of people like kind of skipped over it. Like we had talks about these fights leading up to them. Some of them that was on the docket for the weekend, right? We had Ammo Williams headlining the card. with Edgar Berlanga, being on the undercard, right? We had Nick Ball and TJ Doheny. TJ Doheny was the guy that Inoue beat up not too long ago. Sorry, bro. It's all good. It's all good. I feel you. It's all good. But like we had all of these fights, right? We had Edgar Berlanga getting back to, looking the way he was looking when Top Rank was, was building him and, making him an attraction. You know what I'm saying? Or trying to make him an attraction, right? Got back to, he wound up peeling Buddy's cap back in the first round once again, right? Then he came out and he called out Killer Plant. You had Nick Ball stopping his guy. You had a guy in JDR Herrera, the one who's been barking up the Shakur Stevenson tree. I think he's like number 10 in the WBC. He came out and he stopped this guy, right? We had some things going on. We had Armando Vargas, who pretty much, he got beat up, man. He got beat up. That was the business of boxing, rearing his ugly little head once again. He got beat up. And I stayed up to watch that, because I like the Vargas boys, man. I like them. I thought that them in the Davis DB3, well now it's DB4, if you add Shakur, but I thought DB4 and the Vargas boys was going to get it on at some point. I thought that would be a good little thing for them to keep building and having this and see what happens, and somehow, some way, them brothers is going to link up somehow and they're going to make it work. I thought that was good. So I'm looking at DB4 as they progress. I'm looking at the Vargas boys as they progress. And I thought that they would be good. But I stayed up and watched the Mondo. But with all this boxing, that was going on, the one and only thing, the first thing that was hot on the press was Tank Davis potentially rematching Lamont Roach in the summertime. I was like, see, then that's what I don't get. It's like, I don't understand. Even I seen somebody as part of the rainbow community, right? And my woman tell me this all the time. She's like, man, your heart, like you be having faith in people. You be thinking that. She was like, man, it's not, people are not what you think they are. And I'm like, yeah, I'm learning that. But I seen somebody, he I don't know how long ago he pledged his allegiance to the rainbow community, but you could tell that he's part of that community. And he was up there doing that. And every so often I go back to see if anything changed, if he's going to use his talents for good, if he's going to actually do something that's like on the up and up and not just being, a shitty ass Oscar the Grouch in the trash can, but no. It's like Charlie Murphy. Wrong, you know what I'm saying? Wrong, it's nothing new. Doing a whole video about, do people really hate Tank? Or is it justified, basically? And they do these kind of things to openly shit on the dude, right? Claiming that they know people that's in his family and gaslighting you by saying, oh man, we good, man. I'm good with his people. It's because you good with his people and you got some people that would actually sit over there and have conversations with you and give you an open airway to be able to talk and communicate with them. That don't mean that you ain't no hater. That don't mean that you legit. Just because you can go on somebody's channel and you can act all, we know people like that. We get in relationships where for the first month, 2 months, 3 months, the first quarter, for the first year, you are dealing with somebody's representative. Everybody can put a representative on for a little while. Act like you got some manners. Like, when you used to go meet that young lady, where in this guy's case, I guess when he used to, since he's part of that rainbow community, when he used to go meet the young fella, he would talk to the mother and the father of the young fella and, shake a firm handshake, look him in the eyes, use the napkin. Look like he know how to not eat with his hands and stuff like that. I'm sure he could do that. It's just like when somebody come in for an interview, how many times you been on a job interview or you interview somebody as a supervisor and they come in and they look the part, they talking the part, 2 weeks into the work schedule, you realize they ain't about shit. We know. Right? We know what this is all about. They cannot stop using Tank because he keeps the lights on. And I've often said that, man, he's gonna be one of them guys. He's gonna be one of them guys where you're not gonna appreciate him until he hang up the gloves. And we kind of seen it because Sean Zattel, leading into the Lamont Roach fight, before the fight, he's pretty much saying, man, we don't want to see you go, Tank. But he's one of Tank's biggest detractors. And has been. He'll spend a lot of time interviewing other people, trying to stir up some shit, basically instigating, doing all this and all that. I'm like, man, use your assets a little bit better. I know I would. I would use my assets a little bit better. But I recall a lot of people saying that Tank shouldn't have fought Lamont Roach. Oh, it's a cherry pick. Who is Lamont Roach? All kind of stuff, man. We know the narrative going into the fight, right? People, this is where the gaslighting come in. People conveniently omit the fact that Lomachenko didn't want it and Shakur didn't want it. So we landed on a Lamont Roach, right? That's when we first heard that it was this list, right? So we landed on a Lamont Roach. A lot of people really didn't, they claim they knew, because it's crazy how a lot of people keep going back to Jamel Herring, but these are people that went back, highlights, they did the little resume thing where they go down or whatever, and now they can confidently say and stand on whatever they standing on to legitimize that they knew Roach and how he wasn't this because of Jamel Herring, even though that was a while back, right? We had these people talking about Roach like he wasn't anything, and I was just saying, man, look, I expect my man to go in there and knock him out. That's just what he do. I mean, at that point in time, he had like a 93% knockout ratio. That's pretty much what he do when, you know what I'm saying, he warm up a little bit, figure you out, then he get the job done. That's what he's used to doing. And I'm one of them guys, when it comes to my guys, it's like until proven otherwise, I'm rolling with my guys and what they typically do. Now, I've seen Jermell Charlo not be himself, right? When he went up against Canelo. I've seen Errol Spence not be himself when he went up against Bud. Now I just saw Tank not be himself going up against Lamont Roach. The Spence-Bud fight gave me a new rule to where it's like, well, listen, if you don't go in there and you not 100 or something's going on with you, now I cannot devalue the win of your opponent because your opponent is doing what they're supposed to do, right? But I can make an observation and say that, hey, man, that's not how my guy, like, even with, let's use Jamel, because the Bud Spence example, it just ruffles so many feathers, man. People are so sensitive about that when you say Earl wasn't himself. That just ruffles so many feathers. So let's use Jermell Charlo. I know because, one, he does body work. He did not do any body work. His output wasn't there. His fighting style wasn't there. It's like that was not the version I seen. Jamel's one of my guys. He's one of my guys. So I know when he's not. And when I looked at that fight, I was in there. Me and my lady was watching that Tank fight, and I said, man, this man goofed off for the first 6 rounds, man. This is not, I was like, I don't know what he doing. I don't know what's going on. But I was losing my mind because I'm like, man, this ain't even him. Even though, it take him a little while to warm up. I was like, this is not him. That does not take away from Lamont Roach. Lamont Roach did what he's supposed to do. He was more than formidable that night. And I said, I was one of the ones that said that the man should have got his hand raised. I think Lamont had did enough to get his hand raised. However, even though I believe that, I'm almost 100% sure he can't do that again. I'm almost 100% sure that he can't do that again. Right? But I also can say that the level of hate that Lamont Roach is getting for his time to shine is disgusting. It's disgusting. It don't make any sense. It's like, man, we are like I know y'all heard about that analogy that they use about how they used to spray the monkeys with a fire hose. So it was a group of monkeys. They would put the bananas up top, and every time a monkey would get up there and get close to the top to reach the banana, they would pull out the fire hose and they would spray them till they fall down, right? But over a period of time, what they would do is they would take 2 monkeys out and they would put 2 monkeys in. And every time one would get up to the top and try to get the banana, he'd be right there. They'd spray him with the hose, So what happens is, ultimately, after you take 2 monkeys out and put 2 monkeys in, you take 2 more monkeys out, put 2 monkeys in over a sustained period of time as they attempt to go up there and get the banana, right? What actually happened was, without ever seeing somebody get sprayed with the hose for trying to reach up top, the monkeys would slowly, as one monkey would try to go up there to get the banana, they would pull each other down. That's called programming. And we have been programmed. That's why I used to say, this is why I used to get so upset with, because the Russells were my guys, trying to support them guys, right? Being from the DMV. GTD is my guys. Coach Calvin and them, man, I got so much love for them. And I could not stand hearing how Gary Russell, Mr. Gary Russell, would talk about Tank and them, and they didn't have a fight going on. It was talks, it was all this blah, blah, blah. They wanted some things to happen. They wanted to see Mr. Gary Russell get active. They wanted to see at least him, get up closer to the division or whatever. It was a couple things so that it could seem like it would be more realistic and not just like clout, right? But it was a reason why I always said, man, listen, our symbol in Maryland is the crab. It is the crab. So I try not to be, because I always have that on my mind. I've seen it. It's happened to me so many times. So many times. Somebody that don't have nothing to do with you, don't know nothing. They get wind of something, all of a sudden they trying to pull you down. They trying to restrain you. Dry hating, straight hating. They do not want to see, a lot of times people from this area don't want to see other people succeed and excel. So I used to couldn't stand hearing it. Now it's gotten better here recently. It has gotten better here recently. But if I speak on fighters, right, when I speak on fighters, I only use examples of rules, of situations, and things I've seen where people took these stances when it came to a guy that they like. When it came to a guy that they like, this was the stance that they took, right? I'm gonna start rattling off some examples. When Gervonta Tank Davis fought Isaac Pitbull Cruz, nobody knew. If one, it was a late replacement, because that was the time when he was supposed to fight Rolly. Rolly had those allegations. Rolly pulled out. Devin said he would do it on a short notice. Everybody knew he was blowing hot air, right? He wound up fighting Isaac Pitbull Cruz. People wanted Tank to rematch that guy like right away because he went 12. Right? He went 12, so they wanted him to rematch ASAP. They caught Tank in the interview after that. They said, do he want a rematch? He was like, hell no. You know, he was like, hell no, I don't want to rematch. Like, you know, nah, man, you know, they took that, they blew that up, they went whatever. I'm like, yeah, I mean, you know, if you a critical fan and your fighters asked, do he want to rematch? Like, I could see how people could take and run with it and take that into a negative and be like, oh man, he sounded like he was scared and over embellished. But that's like fan shit. That's like stuff that fans do. Like fans, that's just part of the territory. Like, yeah, they gonna be like, well, man, I wouldn't have said hell nah like that, like whatever. But those are things that fans, that's jargon and stuff that fans poke and prod at each other with. That's just typical behavior. Not nothing really, you know what I'm saying? Hey, Bodywork, I heard Loma was trying to get the GTD fight again, which you heard. Somebody said that. I heard that, Johnny, and salute Johnny Allison. I heard somebody said that. I seen somebody talking about that, man. I don't have any. It sounds about right, though. It sounds about right. It sounds about right. I mean, it sounds. I don't have anything in concrete about it, but I heard somebody speaking on it. I seen another channel speaking on it, right? So, I mean, maybe he, you know, I don't know. Maybe Loma saw something, like Mikey saw something with Earl. Maybe Loma saw something, you know? So maybe. But when Tank didn't automatically rematch the guy, oh man, he ducking that Ice Sock Pitbull Cruise smoke. And I'm like, man, first of all, don't nobody want to see that. Like, no, there weren't a lot of people that was high on Ice Sock Pitbull Cruise at the time anyway. And when he wound up getting the fight, they was saying the same thing they were saying about Lamont Roach. A lot of y'all wasn't around during that time. Like, and some of the loudest voices are taking a casual approach, but they were saying some of the same things about Ice Sock Pitbull Cruz that they were saying about Lamont Roach. Oh man, here you go, man. He picking this guy. Oh, that's just the green print. But that fight, because he went the distance, he gave Tank some challenges. And I also pointed out before this Lamont Roach, I say, hey, listen, man, it be the shorter guys that I think Tank might have a little more difficulties with or might be more challenging. I know for me, myself, it be the shorter guys, man. It don't be the taller, bigger guys, man. You see some comparisons. This is on wax. I'm on wax saying this before. So I was like, yeah, you know, and then you got the whole familiarity thing. So with the Ice Sock Pitbull Cruz, when Tank didn't rematch him right away, they was hating on that. Oh man, he don't want that smoke. I'm like, okay, he don't want that smoke. So then when it came around that he was actually entertaining that he might actually want that smoke, oh man, here we go again, man. He don't fight. But everybody and their mother wanted to fight Ice Sock Pitbull Cruz after that. And if Lamont Roach was a cherry pick, how come everybody and their mother, how come Keyshawn and Shakur are actually actively talking about fighting them now? Riddle me that, Batman. Like, why is he now? Why? Like, so now nobody can find no legitimate food? Nobody can find no food of their own? It make no sense to me. That's just another double standard, right? But listen, Tank Davis, right? Just like with the Pitbull Cruz, right? Immediate reaction. I say, man, a lot of times when it's right after the fight and they shove a mic in your face and you got all of the adrenaline, you might be coming down from your adrenaline, but you just got it and you just was in a tough fight. You was just, you know what I'm saying? They shoved that microphone in your face. Right then and there, that's almost like you're gonna get an impulsive reaction. You're gonna get something impulsive like right then and there. So you have to let shit die down, let people go back, take their shower, you know what I'm saying? Take a couple breaths, do a couple woosahs. You know what I'm saying? Ponder on some stuff and then talk to them after that. Because that's when you're going to get, okay, cool. I might have been emotional at that point. I might have been angry at that point. I might have been disappointed at that point. I was going through a whirlwind of emotions. So now that I let those things subside, now I can actually come back and tell you how I really feel. That's the same thing. That was the same thing. Like, that was the same kind of reaction after the Lamont Roach fight. So after some time go by, they basically said, I think that was Barry Hunter. He basically said, man, that night Tank was ready to go back to the gym. He did not like that shit. He did not like the thought of people actually thinking that he lost. And I said, man, maybe that might have been the best thing for Tank. A lot of fans were like, dang, man, he really gonna hang it up? Like, he really gonna do that? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he really gonna, like, this early? Knowing that these other guys know that right now, man, Tank is in his physical and his mental prime. This is the time where he's like at his apex. He's like at his peak right now. Like you'll stay at your peak, and then you'll be on the other side of the mountain before too long. So why walk away right at your peak? That's what a lot of us was thinking, right? The man come on and say, all right, yeah, I'm gonna get this. All right, say less. We're gonna run it back. It's gonna be soon. And then we hearing news that he gonna run it back. People are talking about, oh man, I would rather for Lamont Roach go fight this person. I would rather for him to go fight that person. But when he didn't, and then this is how they worded. This is how they worded. Oh man, he changed his mind about the rematch. Like the positioning and how they say it, how they put all these things is just like, man, what it's a clear-cut agenda right now. By the way that they position things, like when I was working in customer service with Verizon, right? It's called positioning. How you say things, how you communicate a certain thing, how you package up a deal and communicate that. Change his mind about what? Actually standing up on what he said, like the fact that he don't like it, don't sit well with him, that people actually think Lamont Roach can really fuck with him. Like this is some Floyd type stuff. If Floyd thought, hey man, I need to run that back. Oh, y'all really think Floyd went and ran it back now. This is why I'll be trying to say that people don't keep the same. And I'll be coming across, I think I'll be hurting people's feelings, right? And I don't even be trying to. I just be trying to say, hold on, man. I remember you taking this stance when that happened. I remember you taking that stance when that happened. So when I bring it back to your attention, now I'm being harsh. Now I'm being aggressive. Now I'm starting stuff. But no. Because when Kambosos went in there and upset the apple cart and fought T.O. didn't run it back. It wasn't no immediate. He just now talking about it now that Kambosos, like he was talking about it. I would say I heard this probably within the last 6, 7, 8 months. I think I heard T.O. for the first time, really. Like adamantly saying, oh yeah, I run it back, he can blah, blah, blah. But it was just, you can tell it was political talk to try to sound good. Like, oh yeah, my nuts going to drop to finally fight. And a lot of us think that 10 times out of 10, man, like that was I think Kambosos caught lightning in the bottle. I could be honest and say, man, T.O. went in there like a bull in the china shop. He didn't fight he does fight to the level of his competition, but he went in there thinking he was just going to steamroll Kambosos. And Kambosos knew that, he lost himself in a moment. He owned it. He knocked him down. I think he surprised him. He caught him off guard. T.O. was saying he had some shit going on with his lungs and all kind of shit, asthma. He had already went through the fight getting pushed back because he had collided with Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather did the same shit he wound up going on to do with Tank, setting up a fight on the same night. The people that he went when he tried to circumvent Bob at the time, Triller and all them, they canceled the fight. That was a pushback. I think he caught COVID. That got pushed back. So you looking at this man training and then not being able to fight. Training and not being able to fight. Training and not being able to fight. So I can say, man, T.O. wasn't himself that night when he fought Kambosos. Oh, man, get out of here. And I have no reason to defend T.O. now. I just used to be a big fan of T.O. I call it like it is. There's so many videos. I can't deny the videos I had about T.O. I was riding for him when everybody was shitting on him and making up all this stuff because somebody truly didn't want to fight him. It was a dude down there that didn't really want to fight him, but he had enough presence on YouTube to have everybody thinking that T.O. was out there really ducking the man. They just didn't want to pay him. But he's done everything that this guy did before this guy did it. Long story short, T.O. didn't want the immediate rematch. T.O. didn't even want to rematch Kambosos, and you can see the whole energy every time they used to ask him about Kambosos. He's like, nah, man, like, nah, you know. His energy, like, you can't cheat, like, you cannot cheat body language. Your energy, it was not the same when he was asked about Kambosos. That's T.O. in his rematch, right? The fight that he should have rematched, right? That's that fight. Let's move over to Devin. When Devin fought Lomachenko, that fight was close enough to where, now surprisingly, I edged Devin in that fight. Yeah, because people be thinking I hate on Devin. No, I edged him in that fight. Why? Because he invested to the body doing body work early in the fight. And then when Loma made his surge after the whole dad, he figured me out. When Devin went over them, dad, he figured me out. Because Loma figured him out. He turned up. Loma got so cocky thinking it was in the bag, he took the 12th round off. And I can allude back to what I said, what happened in this Tank and Lamont Roach fight, in that it was like the tortoise in the hare. Like the tortoise in the hare. In that instance, towards the end, Loma got cocky, thinking he had it in the bag. He took the 12th round. Now, if he would have pressed, I would have gave it to Loma. He did not press. So Devin got off by the hair of his chinny chin chin. But there is a consistency out there that a lot of people thought that Loma won and that he deserved a rematch. There was no energy for a rematch. It was like they were relieved. First of all, Devin said that the man was like, Devin said like what? More than 18 months before he fight, he was out there tweeting that Loma is too old and too small. That was 18 months before he fought. And we get confirmation, well, I got confirmation that they knew, somebody knew, like the supporters, his supporters already knew that Devin should have been moved up. So it's crazy how now, and I'm gonna get down, they can say now that, oh man, we knew Devin should have moved up years ago. Okay, so was he weight bullying or was he not? Because now you can say, well, for years, and so now you can't have it both ways. You can't. Okay, so why he didn't rematch Loma? So we got T.O. no rematch in the controversial fight where he actually lost. He lost. Nobody thought that T.O. beat Kambosos in that fight. Kambosos won that straight up. The Devin and Loma, that was controversial. There was no energy for a rematch. He get let off the hook. Then let's move over to Shakur. Even though he's not one of them guys. He's not one of them guys. Ryan was, but Ryan is that's another thing with Devin in the rematch. You know what I'm saying? That's another instance with Devin in a rematch. But you got Ryan in a rematch based on what actually happened. So Ryan is about the only one, except for with this Devin fight, because of the not disclosing what supplements he had and the contamination, all that stuff, and the Ostarine. The Ostarine turned the C-level fighter to be able to knock the best thing since sliced bread. Somebody that the takeover for Floyd Mayweather was able to knock him on the canvas 5 times, all over some Ostarine. I said, man, I got to get some. Every time I go look for something, they ain't got nothing for me. They won't sell me nothing. Cause they know if Ostarine can turn a C-level fighter into that, man, I'll be around here kicking old ladies down steps for no reason. If I get me some Ostarine, I don't need none. But it was no energy. So let's go to Shakur and De Los Santos. They come out and now Regis and Zarilla, they set a record for the least amount of punches landed, right? Which was an anomaly. Zorilla actually dropped Regis twice. Devin sees that performance, goes in there, beats the shit out of Regis. We learned there was a rehydration clause on Regis, and Regis also talked about some other things. That's not what this video is about, but Regis also came out after the fact. I think he was mummed at a point in time. He came out after the fight, disclosed some things, said some things, right? But I'm gonna let that go, right? Shakur and De La Santo. So Shakur don't fight Devin. Devin don't fight Shakur. Devin, they say, DHP say it's only going to be one champion here. Even though Church had already told us he was going to 40, like he had already told us damn near a year, like he told us damn near a year before that Devin is going to 40, right? But Bill and Devin say it's only going to be one champion. Then they contradict themselves. They contradict themselves and they move up to 40. So you can say Shakur didn't fight Devin because they always say Shakur should have just took blah blah, or you could say Devin didn't fight Shakur. Either way, man, I'm tired of arguing that point. You know what I'm saying? I know it was a lot of bullshit at the time. I know the stance that I had, and that stance pretty much hasn't changed. We all know the truth and what really happened and who really didn't want to fight who. However, Shakur, because the belt is available and he was next in line, he gets to fight De Los Santos for a vacant strap. They set another record. So I would say in the span of about what? I think that was about 3 months, 2 or 3 months in the span, we had 2 anomalies. Record setting, which you're probably not going to see. Even though that Kane fight, that Kane versus, I forgot whoever that dude was on that Nick Ball card. That Kane versus whatever that other dude name was. Dude just ran around and ran around. That might, I don't know. I don't even know if that set a record, but it was looking like it was. That was one of the most boring fights I've ever seen. But they set a record for least amount of punches. And then Shakur come out and say he had a hand injury. And, oh, man, De Los Santos should have recognized that I was hurt. But I bluffed him all night and blah, blah, blah. And he slid off with the belt. And everybody was saying, man, get a dude a rematch, man. Come on, man, give him a rematch. For what? They were saying for what? It ain't no rematch. Like he just basically, like he washed him. I'm like, what fight was y'all watching? No energy for a rematch. I'm seeing more and more people because they looking at Tank now like he has a blemish. It's a draw. That means nobody won, nobody lost. Nobody won, nobody lost. That's what it is. I'm seeing more and more people like, I never really had a problem with Tank. Because they feel somewhat relieved thinking that because they view him as having a blemish now. I'm like, so you had to see the man suffer a draw before you actually start appreciating or relaxing like on all the bullshit you was saying about him. That's kind of weird. These same people was like, oh man, after Deontay Wilder got knocked out, and now they gonna say blah blah blah. Now they like him. These same people, but they take the same approach. There's a lot of commonality between the people that was like diehard Deontay Wilder fans and diehard Devin Haney fans. Same approach. Why? Because the same people was putting out the same bullshit about both of them. And that's just facts. No energy about this rematch. No nothing. So now when the man say, nope, we're going to run it back now. Oh, man, he changing plans. So I guess this hit list and all this stuff for the rest of this, like, make up your mind. He's saying, all right, well, I'm about to go right this wrong, like, right away. I'm not going to have no loose ends out here. I ain't going to have nobody running around thinking, oh, man, I'm about to tie these loose ends up right now. I'm about to go get it popping. Oh, man, well, there we go. Like, so that means he don't really want the Shakur smoke. Oh, man, that means he don't really want to see Keisha. It's like, y'all can't have it both ways, man. You can't have it both ways. But it's crazy how you can have a whole weekend full of boxing. Because they actually had boxing on Sunday. You have all these fights, Berlanga, Ammo, Nick Ball, all these guys out here fighting, mixing it up. Armando Vargas. Then you got fights on Sunday. And the topic of conversation is still Tank on Monday. Because he keeps the lights on. He keeps the lights on. That's why you actually have to you have to talk about him, because if you don't, your show won't last. People won't engage. You got people up here yesterday, the dude from the Rainbow Coalition. I have yet to see anything about this man even bigging up his fighter, and that's how I know. It's like they hate on Tank more than they actually promote their own fighters. Every interview, everybody, like the Bud, like what Cigar Talk was doing with the Bud interview, it was all about what he said about Tank. The Shakur interview, everything about what he said about Tank. It's nothing about these guys where they could just sell themselves based on their own merit and what they bring to the table or what they got going on. They gotta mix Tank in there somewhere. He has officially surpassed Floyd in hate. I don't care what anybody say. Because I've never understood how you could hate somebody so much or have so much disdain, but that's all you talk about. That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird to me. It don't make no sense. Now, this is the other thing. Opponent selection. Right? I have to jog your memory, because when you look at the last fight, Shakur fought a dude that was installing solar panels and had a full-time job. Keyshawn fought a guy who he hadn't fought since he actually took the strap, or actually when he actually got the strap in Navarrete, from a Navarrete fight, shall I say. 36. He's same age as Loma. He wasn't active, so he fought a champ. The last time we seen T.O. fight, who was the last guy? Claggett, the guy with the 7 losses. We seen him fight. Ryan and Devin, they just got it on. But Devin is fighting a guy coming off of a loss, getting washed by Honor Barbosa. And a lot of people been saying Jose Ramirez, he ain't been the same. He wasn't that same guy, man. Like a prime Jose Ramirez, it wasn't. Barbosa wouldn't have been able to do nothing with a prime Jose Ramirez. Not when him and Josh Taylor and Regis, when all them, before all of that shit settled out and before, they pretty much got too big for the weight class. Before all of that, man, Arnold Barbosa wouldn't have been able to do nothing with no Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez was out there working people, but it's okay that he picks a guy coming off of law, just like when Shakur was getting ready to fight Cordina. It was okay for him to fight a guy coming off of a knockout loss. But everybody questions and everybody have everything to say about the opponents that Tank fight him when Tank fight him. But then they go on to want to fight him. It just wound up biting Devin in the ass by going to go fight Ryan Garcia. I hate to put it like that, but it just wound up, he had no business going to go play in the sandbox with Ryan. If he wasn't legacy and all that, I'm a legacy fighter, so why are you going over there trying to fight Ryan? It's nothing legacy. And they'll tell y'all, man, Ryan ain't never won no title. He ain't never did. So why was y'all campaigning for him to fight Ryan in the first place? Because Tank fought him? And then we hearing that Devin's getting ready to put Jose Ramirez, they getting ready to fight at a catch weight. That's the whole, like, that's one of the things that they drag Tank for. And then I got the breakdown. Oh, well, technically, anything over 140, that's considered welterweight. Well, when Tank gave Ryan the extra pound, because he was the champ at 135, when he gave Ryan the extra pound so he wouldn't have to scrape the bottom of the barrel, then technically they fought at 140. So why are you crying? But it's different, though. It's different when it comes down to that. Devin can fight a dude coming off a loss, getting washed. He always fighting these older guys or somebody leftovers. We ain't seen none of these guys peel the luster off of nobody. They ain't peeled the luster off of nobody. And they think that because Lamont Roach gave Tank Davis a hard time, that's a victory for them. Make it make sense. When when Devin lost to Ryan, and he got knocked on his ass bag and was looking real sad black, yeah, we smoked the Devin Haney pack. I did. That night when it happened, and then the next day, and then in passing and glancing blows as it came up afterwards, we talked about it. But I dropped it after that. Didn't nobody spend weeks and hours and days and years, and you got more videos. You got people out here with more videos hating on Tank than they have up in their favorite fighters. That's what I don't understand. We all had the Haney pack after that. Then when we found out, we said, hold on, man. But then when you try to go into, okay, the real reason for the suspension and what really happened and how, if cheating is cheating, they try to cover, oh, man, I just don't see how so many people could just have so much love for a cheater. And they try to change. That's gaslighting, man, gaslighting. Cheating is cheating. But if you got your O back, why are you still moving like you lost? Why are people still talking about all it was a left hook? Look at this. Now, I ain't no genius, but if you see the left side, okay, so if the left hook will be on the right side. Now look at the left side of his face. That's a right hand. So it was right hands and left hooks. But because you doing your fighter no justice by saying all it was just the left, man. If it wasn't for the Oscarine, no. Tell him the truth. Be truthful to this guy just as much as you are hateful to another guy. But let's not move these goalposts for these different fighters, man. Because we do this all the time. When it's somebody you like, you skim away from the truth. You minimize. You don't keep it right and exact. You don't keep it 10 times 10 when it comes down to a guy that you like. But you go all out. You inspect a gadget when it comes to another guy that you don't care for. That's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. You so dismissive. The standards just changed. It's like, oh, no, it's okay. Man, he wanted more money. Like the Shakur and Frank Martin fight. The way Shakur treated Frank Martin when he said he wanted a little Now, I still have to say that Frank ducked Shakur. And I said, man, you missed out because you're gonna duck Shakur to go get knocked out by Tank. And that's what happened. It's on wax. But for Shakur to say that Frank was out of his mind, and I agree that Frank was this and that because he didn't want to fight. Now, he used jargon I wouldn't use towards Frank, but they are the fighters. So they can talk like that to each other. I didn't say nothing like that. But for Shakur to act like that with Frank, and when Frank was saying he wanted an extra for Shakur to be in talks with Tank people offer, and they saying, nah, that ain't enough, It's like that's the pot calling the kettle black. That's hip hop. That's hypocrisy. When you talk about Keyshawn and fighting Gustavo Lemos, he brought Gustavo Lemos down from 40 to 35. Instead of going up. But Tank, because he and he's naturally bigger than the dude already. But when Tank fight a dude who's naturally bigger than him and he's coming up from a weight class, even though he's had more fights at 35 than Shakur, it's a problem. It's like I hope these guys that's out here doing all these videos and got so much to say about all this shit, right? I hope that y'all understand that you all have, and I think that's why they make the live so long. They make the live so goddamn long that when you have something, you gotta actually remember the timestamp of when they said this shit, because ain't nobody gonna go back and listen to 5 hours of you hating to figure out where you shot yourself in the ass or the foot. But you putting out videos with all this stuff, and then when it comes to this other fighter over here, you change your whole standards. Like Sammy Sausage Head. My mom used to say, "Oh, you think I'm Sammy Sausage Head? Like I just screw my head off at night and put it in my dressing and put it back on in the morning." That's what you think we are as fans. But like, no, man, let's clean up the boxing talk, man. Let's clean it up, man. Let's be more responsible with the talk, man. It's so tiring, man, seeing the same people saying the same old dumbass shit, painting the same old dumbass narratives. Like every day, it's like disgusting. Like it's like we are not progressing. Acting like we don't be seeing what's going on. We seen Berlanga just go spill this like peel this guy's muffin cap back. Like dude had no business getting in the ring with him, man. But he gets praised. He got a parade. He got a parade for going the distance with Canelo. And it was the same outcome that they both got, him and Jermell got dropped. Only Jermell was coming from 154 up there. And Berlanga was talking about fighting AJ after the fight. And he missed weight. They don't say nothing about him missing weight. But they'll tell you about when Tank missed weight. They say nothing about Shakur missing weight when he missed weight. But they'll tell you about when Tank missed weight. The people that hate on David Benavidez, they'll tell you about when he missed weight. When he had that powder in the system. They'll tell you all about that. But when it's a guy they hide their flaws. That's what we don't need. But I feel like, man, this is what, like this fight, this thing that Lamont did, man, where he kind of, Lamont came in. He was more than formidable. And I think he might have lit a fire back in Tank. He might have lit a fire back in Tank. And who knows how the next fight gonna be. But we all know that a lot of people attribute it to the familiarity that Lamont Roach and Tank had, right? But it never dawns on them that, because now it's like I've heard people say, "Oh man, I became a Lamont Roach fan after this and that." I'm like, "Oh, that's cool. That's great for Lamont." Because I was one of the ones saying, "Man, if he wasn't fighting Tank, I'd be rooting for Lamont." Like when I thought the boxing guys was going to rob him when he fought Hector Garcia. I wanted him to get that victory, especially being a dude from the DMV. I never had no disrespect for Lamont. But it's crazy how people can see how, because you got familiarity with a person, right? How that could make you more formidable. But they totally wiped that out when it come down to Ryan and Devin. They think that it just had to be Austin. Like, and Ryan said he cracked that jaw when they was in the amateurs. They split. It was called, remember they was calling it Game 7? So it ain't have nothing to do with the familiarity and how Ryan always knew he was catching Devin with that left hook. Straight right. In order to set the left hook, you gotta come on now. You gotta be able to throw in the right. You gotta be able to throw in the right. You gotta be able to jab, feint, throwing the right here and there, jab, feint, throwing the right, feint, and boom, left hook. Like it's familiarity there. That's why the fight was so competitive. But I've seen that a lot of these guys, they've already programmed themselves to just wipe it all away. Oh man, that was just the Osterine. Okay. And all it was the left hook in the rounds that he didn't get dropped. Well, there was 5 drops in that fight. He only got counted for 3 of them. But there is a lot of familiarity with that fight. Just like with Tank and Lamont. They got a history just like that. They didn't fight as many times, which means that there's even more familiarity with Devin and Ryan. And that was the first time we seen Devin fight somebody that was like where he didn't have all the advantages. like all the other fights when he was doing whatever, but like opponent selection, rematching, picking and choosing when you want to be legacy or about the bag. They all want to get the bag. But these are just some things that I'm seeing where it's like people love going all out on Tank about these things. They love shitting on the dude. They love shitting on Tank. And like, I was like, man, Tank, you should have never gave these suckers nothing to be able to talk about, man. But I think that in disguise, this might have been the best thing to happen to Tank, man. This Lamont Roach fight. It's just crazy how everybody's contradicting themselves now. They contradicting themselves now, and how all these people bandwagon Roach and they hate some of the Tank OnlyFans are just shitting all on Lamont and just going all extra or whatever. Like, the man getting his time to shine. He building the fight. Yeah, you know, he feeling himself right now. Ain't he supposed to? He's supposed to be feeling himself right now. He's supposed to build on that performance and come back and try to do it again. But I appreciate the energy from Tank. That's what I wanted to see in my fight. I can say, well, at least my fighter, he want to go back and correct this shit right now, ASAP. He ready to go ham. I could imagine he ready to go ham. He knew he was in there goofing off and doing shit that he used to do and all this, and you know, being too friendly. But I can honestly say, man, he done passed up Floyd, man. Most hated. People be saying people hate Devin and all this. Like, no, man, y'all ignoring the truth. Y'all ignore a lot of the hateful things that a lot of these other guys are doing. Y'all ignore a lot of the sins of these other people, but y'all highlight the sins of one. Y'all highlight all of the sins of Earl Spence, all of the sins of a Jamel Charlo, all of the sins of a Tank. But when it comes to some of these other guys, oh, we ain't see that. Oh, we don't know what you're talking about. That's gaslighting. That's gaslighting. I had to put a stake in the ground with this conversation, man, and put this on people's mind, man. Let's be responsible when we talk, man. Stop bullshitting the people, man. Stop bullshitting the people with this conversation we having about boxing where you can't keep it a buck about your favorite fighter. Because I could tell you, I was like, man, hey, man, Lamont deserved to get his hand raised that night. I could tell you that with a straight face. Do I think he could do it again? No. But I could tell you that and not go overboard. And not think nothing of it. I keep it 10 times 10. I'm not a fanboy. I have fighters that I like. And the other thing, I talked about this the other night, man. Stop shaming people for being fans of fighters. Y'all sound dumb as hell talking about, oh, you're a fan of a man. While you sit down with another dude junk in your mouth like every other day, all day. Don't make no sense. So I thought I'd put this out here, man. It's still GTD over everybody. Everybody. Every blood clot team, you know. He's still a bad motherfucker. And it don't mean that man, don't let your eyes get bigger than your stomach. That's all I'ma say, man. Don't let your eyes get bigger than your stomach, because you might have seen some things. That don't mean you gonna be able to do it. That don't mean your fighter gonna be able to do nothing like that. That don't mean he ain't gonna have no animosity. That don't mean he gonna be as friendly with you or as unfocused as he was like that night. That don't mean he gonna do that. That don't mean it. That don't mean that when he catch you with that shit, you ain't gonna go down. It don't mean that. But don't let your eyes get bigger than your stomach, man. And let's hold all these fighters accountable. The same standards you have for Tank, let's hold them same standards for these other guys. And we clearly we don't do it. It's a thousand more examples I can give. It's a thousand more examples I can give about this. It's a thousand more like contradictions, because I see them all the time, especially when the people that are most vocal about these things. Yeah. Than once that if that was a knockdown, Tank did take an L in my opinion. True, T.O.'s a clown for real though, body work. You know this. He could have been offered $30 million and no dice on the 135 limit at that time. Koki! Salute body work. Yeah, man. Good to see you, Koki. Good to see you, man. Salute Johnny Allison, man. I was wondering where y'all boys been, man. I appreciate y'all contributions to the channel, man. But like, that's just some things, man. I'm not all fanned out like that, man. I keep it straight down the middle. And I put all these guys on the scale, the same scale. You're not gonna catch me having one standard for this guy, then another standard for that. And then you'll have people saying, "Oh, well, but you know, Tank is at a higher standard." It's like, okay, well, if you hold them to a higher standard, relax with that dumb shit y'all be doing, because y'all look like abs. Oh, you been grinding? I've been grinding the boxygen. That's what's up, Koki. Glad to hear that. I've been getting my workout on too, man. I sometimes I do it in the evening, but I started doing it in the morning. I'm up at old dark 30 doing my workout, so that now when I get off, when I stop working, when I call it quits for the day, I can get right to whatever I got going on in the evening, man. Long days though, Koki, man. I'm glad to hear you on the up and up, man. I think Davis KO Roach in the rematch. Me too. Dave, let me see. Davis wasn't calculating the fight normally how he does. I think in the rematch, Tank finds a gap in Roach shield and cracks him. I seen him doing the move that him and Coach Kenny was doing, man. A la the same way. Normally it'd be that move, man, but he lost track of time. In my opinion, he lost track of time. I think them first 6 rounds was like, he thought that was like 1 round or 2 rounds. I don't know how. He just lost track, man. And then, you know, you could tell, and I'm not, this is not an excuse. This is just knowing my fighter, just like when I talked about Jamel, just like when I talk about Spitz. He had a lot of respect for Lamont Roach. He had a lot of respect for Lamont Roach. He had a lot of respect for him, man. And he, to me, it looked like he didn't want to. It looked like he pulled punches at times to me, man. I don't think he got to worry about that now, because Lamont been out there talking that. He been talking that noise, man. Lamont been out there like yeah, Lamont, and rightfully so, man. You should feel good. Like that was a little bit more than a moral victory for Lamont, man. But Lamont been talking and you know what I'm saying, and dredging it up, and he got motivation now. I think all that friend stuff, that shit's gonna go out the window. All that respect, all of that's gonna go out the window. You know what I'm saying? I think this is gonna be different. You know, and just like when Coach Calvin always say, we haven't seen the best of Tank, and this stuff in the toolbox that we have yet to see. I think that toolbox is gonna be cracked open on this one, man. Because I think he boiling over this one. He don't like that, and I like to see that in my fighter, man. I like to see that in my guys, man, where they don't sit well with him and they come back. You know, even I was happy to see Stephen Fortune get his mojo back. I was critiquing him hard, just like I do all these other guys, but it felt good to see the dude get back and be what we know he can be. This is boxing, baby. He wasn't going for the kill. And he got his feeding Roach. That Davis hate. Man, it's bonkers out here, Koki, man. It's bonkers, man. I don't even I can't even recognize what people's agendas are no more, man. I just know that they got them. Man. It's just easy to me to where you call what your eyeballs see. If something is going on that's fishy or funny business, even if that's somebody you fuck with, say something about it, because the channel is silence is consent. And speak the truth. You can have your favorites. You could want something to happen. It's just like how people want Devin to have a chin so bad. They want him to have a chin so bad, they think that arguing and debating over is going to make this man have a chin. It's not. But what you can do is say, listen, man, if you look at the times, if you look at from the second round to about I think it was the 7th, from the second round to the 6th or the 7th, you use your boxing skills and you outbox Ryan. So you got dropped in the first round, and then you outboxed him for 5 straight rounds. That's all you had to do to win the fight. Don't be trying to convince this man that he got a chin. That's what we differ as fans. I'm not trying to convince him. I'm telling him, man, you know your chin ain't gonna hold up. So you need to box. Y'all try to say, oh, that man got a chin. Stop being disrespectful. We different. You know what I'm saying? We different. I'm telling my fighter the truth. It's just like I used to tell my soldiers in the army, man. I would tell them the truth, and that's why they love me. I kill for my soldiers, and they would kill for me. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't sugarcoat and lie to them. I ain't put no batteries in their back. I told them, nah, man, your boots look like shit. Like your uniform look like you pulled it out your earplug case. You know what I'm saying? You need to go work out. You need to run. I used to teach my soldiers how to do laundry, how to shine boots, how to clean up, how to like everything. Like, nah, I wasn't telling them like, nah, man, that ain't gonna cut it. Nah, man, you ain't ready. And they love me for it. But they know I'll go to war for them. And they will go to war for me. That's just real talk, man. I'm not like these other guys, man. I'm not gonna tell you nothing that's gonna get you fucked up. Or have you thinking. That's how a lot of people get fucked up. You keep telling your man, it's like, oh yeah, man, ain't nothing. Oh yeah, oh yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's just like people telling Tank, like, oh man, you really won. Yeah, man, you just had it. Oh, they just hating. It's like, nah, man, tell Tank the truth. You goofed off for 6 rounds. You lost track of time. It might not have been the best game plan. You were looking off in the crowd and all that. You know what I'm saying? You was being too nice to the dude. Go out there and kick the shit out this nigga next time. And cut it out. What's so hard about that? When that's your guy. That's what you're supposed to tell your guy. The truth. He said, yeah, Devin's chin been tested by Diaz, Linares, Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia, and Diddy. The first 3 guys were natural 126-pounders who had to face gigantic octopus fighting style Haney, who rehydrated 25 pounds. Yep. To get rocked by midgets when you're a 168-pound guy is wild. Suspect chick. I've followed boxers since the 80s. I've never seen anything like it. Exactly. At least Amir Khan got rocked by power hitters in his weight class. Haney got rocked by Chomos. Like, yeah, and that's the thing. Like, nobody questioned whether or not Amir Khan had a chin. The only thing is Amir Khan could box, but then Amir Khan, if he caught you, you know what I'm saying, Amir Khan could put you down. You know what I'm saying? He had like that speed, you know what I mean? So it was like they didn't lie. Nobody was out there lying to Amir Khan like, oh, you got a chin, man. You get up. Like, hopefully they all get up when they get knocked down. That don't mean you got a chin. You know, Pablo Valdez, Berlanga, Hitchens been training in the trenches of Brooklyn. They look good in their recent fights. I hope Kambosos doesn't flop so Hitchens complete the cherry and take on a champ. Exactly. And I was giving them leniency. For that Koki about Kambosos. Because people say, who want to see? I'm like, man, listen, these other guys out here moving funny. Watch all the hate Hitchens. Watch all the hate Hitchens get if Kambosos is to dust this other dude off and then get a fight with Hitchens. Watch how they hate on Hitchens, man. They treat this guy like he don't have no belt, like he don't like, man, like it's a reason why your boy went up there to 147. And I'd be curious after, let's just say after Jose Ramirez, right? And if he is to get the rematch with Ryan, I'm so curious as to what he's going to do after that. I'm so curious because I bet you none of them fans are going to be talking about no Boots. They're going to be talking about no standing. Oh, they probably going for Barrios. Another guy that wasn't shit when Tank fought him, but they're going to give full credit when they fight him. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? I give Hitchens space for a Kambosos fight. Hitchens been fighting good fighters his last 11 fights. Exactly. Hitchens didn't have a resume of cherry pick. Exactly. He didn't suck himself down to 35 and do that. Can you imagine if Hitchens would have did that? What it would have looked like? Like, that's what I'd be saying, man. But you know your boxing, Koki. You know your boxing. You know your boxing. Haney gonna stay away from Boots, Stanionis, Hitchens, Gary Antoine Russell, Matthias. Like, I know he ain't gonna get in there with no Stanionis. I know he wouldn't get in there with no Stanionis. I know he wouldn't get in there. He wouldn't get in there with Brian Norman. But it's just different, man, because they shove these guys, they try to shove these guys down your throat and they tell you that these guys are this and these guys are that. And when you go along with the flow and you be like, all right, I'm gonna check them out. All right, I'm gonna do this. And you start seeing their inconsistencies with the things that they allow them to do versus the expectations and the things that they hold Tank's feet to the fire for. It's like, hold on, you a hypocrite, bro. You a hypocrite. And you can fill in the blank with whatever fighter. It's moves out here that all these guys are making that you are a hypocrite if you're not pointing them out and keeping it a buck. And all you always have to say something about the things that Tank is doing. That's my issue. It's like, spread the bullshit around. But your guy can walk on water. He the best thing since sliced bread. He taking over for Floyd. He the face of boxing. Like, he can rehydrate. They still haven't answered that question as to how that man's able to get down to that weight and then rehydrate the next day. And he said nothing but fluids, drinking fluids. They give Tank hell for weight clauses, but Haney, yeah, he get a weight clause. That's why I said I was going over that earlier, man. But this live is going longer than what I thought, man. We at the hour and 35. I like to keep them around an hour and a half, but we had that little technical difficulty, man. I don't know what's going on with StreamYard. They've been acting fine the last couple of lives. But like I said, man, I took my break, man. I'm back in full effect, man. I've been took my break. You know, I was just letting it breathe this weekend and just looking at everything. But I got more content. I'm gonna get back into my 40 series. I want to get back into the 54 series, and I gotta definitely touch on this 35 series, man. And it's some real smoke. I think it's some fights being talked about, man. There's some fights being talked about, man, that I'm excited for if they are to come true. And Keith Thurman made his way back. It was good to see him get in there, get his ring rust off. Be active, because what the word was on Keith. And I wasn't always the biggest Keith fan. It's just good to see brothers getting back, making a bag, being successful, doing their thing. Salute Bodywork, much love. Hope you have a strong week. You're the best #1 boxing podcast. I appreciate that, Koki. I definitely appreciate that, man. Thank you, man. I hope you have a strong week too, man. I gotta get up at old dark 30 and get that work in. You know what I'm saying? I'm been getting that work in. I've been getting in that work, man. I mean, I'll be so sore at the end of the day. I'll be getting that good work. And I got my I got over how many? I think I got like 10,400 and something steps today. So yeah, man. It's gonna be a good, successful week, man. I appreciate it. Thanks for everybody who came through, man, and chopped it up with me, man. Let's just be responsible. Let's spread some of the shenanigans around, man. And let's not be hypocrites. That's the message for today. Stop all that goddamn gaslighting. Stop all that gaslighting. Nice, man. Exercise is medicine. Yeah. Clear your mind. Anyways, y'all, thanks for choosing Bodywork Boxing. But we don't take things for face value. We do that body work.
He didn't want to box. He wanted to actually prove that he could punch with you. He was like, what the fuck is this nigga? Right? Oh, okay. You want to go to sleep. You tired.
Welcome to Bodywork.